Foggy Fly and WowFare are scams. They're scam sites, and if you needed to know that, good. Now you know. So I've had experience trying to book a flight with these two companies, and they both operate a little bit differently. WowFare, something maybe half a year ago or more, I saw online. It was like, hey, call this number because we have a phone only deal for you. Well, I called the number and they're like, well, that price that we advertised for your phone only deal applies to some unrelated date and unrelated time. But here's what we can do for you. We can give you the flight that you wanted at, let's say, twice the price you wanted to pay. And you just go ahead and say no, and they'll continue calling you and calling you. Okay, that's not that bad, but I still consider that to be a bait and switch scam. They advertise to you a price for a certain date, and when you call, it no longer exists, and it likely never existed. Okay, Foggy Fly. This one, just a couple days ago, I was comparing flights, and let's say that the flight that I had been looking at was listed on the airline's website for about 500 euros. And I had seen a price for 470 euros, and then I saw a price on this site for I believe it was 370. And yeah, almost too good to be true, but still within what I thought was the realm of, possible. So I booked the flight. I didn't read about the site. And then I decided to look up reviews, read a lot of stories, and I kind of felt in my gut, okay, this was a bad idea. It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, some of these guys in the reviews, they're saying that, oh, they told me that I couldn't bring check luggage or carry-on luggage. I said, well, that's not a big deal for me. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding with these other reviewers. But of course, what happens is I get a call, and it followed nearly exactly the experience of every other review that's been posted on Trustpilot and other websites. The first thing they tell me is, your flight is an economy restricted flight and that you cannot take on any carry-on or check luggage. And I tell them, okay, that's fine with me. And they said, are you sure? You can't take, and they try to push me on that. I said, no, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Okay. So then they put me on hold, and eventually they come back and said, oh, we booked the first half of your flight, but we didn't book the second half. This has happened to a lot of people. And, well, I was like, well, what can we do about that? And they said, well, we can book you on another flight, and that'll be 700 euros. Wait a second, 700 euros? I told them, hey, we're not doing that. That's not going to happen. And then, they go on about how the first half is not refundable, blah, 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 blah. So then I called their bluff and said, well, if the first half is booked, can we just forget the second half? And put me on hold, come back, said, no, we can't do that. So let's see, I might be able to. I recorded this last clip just because I wanted to make sure that I had it on record that they were trying to bait and switch me. So I'll play back what I can.
So sorry, I was checking the policy of the airline, and as it's a discounted fare that we are talking about, it either have to be a full issuance of the tickets or nothing at all. With this, then you have to have to make it again on
Okay.
the.
Okay. Okay.
So so sorry about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's no worries. I
Would
understand.
it be okay with 689? I don't think that's that much of a fair difference.
It really
I
wouldn't.
understand you might have a budget, but for those days, if you will check, the flights are quite expensive.
Yeah, I
The
understand
discounted
what you're
fare that
saying,
you're
and
getting.
understand the point, but it's that's just way beyond. Uh,
And that will not work.
no, it won't. So I mean, if that's the only option, and if the original agreed price, what you're saying cannot be achieved, uh, in that case, I would just say to close to essentially cancel the request if that's possible.
So sorry, off a little bit.
Yeah, I was saying that. So from what I understand, the original agreed upon advertised price cannot be achieved.
It cannot be shoot for.
Yeah,
Sorry about it.
for
Yep,
that
it
time.
is sold
So
out.
if that's not possible, then I would just say to because the agreement at that point is void. So I would just say let's just go ahead and cancel everything.
Okay. I'll send it to the airline, and as they are unable to process the reservation, I'll check for the cancellation policy and I'll send you the email regarding the same.
Okay.
Okay. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience.
Oh, no,
And
that's
if there
yeah.
will be anything, I have your number. And
Okay.
if I have anything better than this, I'll mark you an email or give you a call.
Okay. Thank you. It's unfortunate, but thanks.
I understand. So sorry about that. Have a great day.
Okay. You too. Bye
Take
bye.
care.
But my conclusion was like, hey, I'm not going to agree to paying more, not some ridiculous price. And yeah, and if you advertise the price, that's the price I'm going to pay, and if you can't do that, well, cancel it. So I told them exactly that, and of course they ended, by saying something along the lines of, "Oh, we'll go check with the airlines and get back to you." Of course, they haven't gotten back to me, and I noticed that they never even charged my credit card in the first place, and I doubt they will ever charge it anyway. Um, I mean, I'll keep an eye on that and make sure they don't. But my thought is that they don't want to get too many chargebacks or anything where they can't keep this scam up. And to keep the scam up, they need people to willingly accept the new higher prices because obviously they never booked the first flight. That doesn't happen. That's it's a bunch of garbage because even if it was true, it's their problem, not mine, to give me that full booking or not. I'm not paying anything different. I mean, they can deal with that, but of course, none of that exists. They of course never booked any flight. Of course, all of it is a scam, and they're trying to get you to pay some inflated price for not an actual booking, but you know, bait and switch scam. And you can even go to the reviews. And what's crazy is that if you look at like on Trustpilot and you look at the positive reviews, you'll find that plenty of those positive reviews are people who fell for the scam. They'll be like, "Oh, this customer service representative was great. I had to pay extra, but they helped me figure things out, and I know these things happen." And it's like, man, even the good reviews, they are scamming people. People who it's frustrating. They could have just told them no. They could have hung up on them. They could have, any plethora of things, especially if you've booked with a credit card and they are not honoring the price that they've given you and they want to make a change like that. I'm almost certain that in most cases you can do a chargeback. And like I said, in this case, it's been several days. They didn't even charge me in the first place, and I just don't think they will, because they need to keep their, I guess, reputation up with the credit card company themselves, so they can't be getting complaints in that sense. But funny thing was, whatever call center this is in is packed because you can hear tons of voices, and I can hear them, essentially pulling this same garbage on other people. I can hear them telling somebody, oh, but this is going to be the best price you're going to get. And, maybe we should go ahead and book this right away before it keeps on increasing. We've already missed one shot. So, do this now. And they just, it's scummy. I mean, it's not like, obviously they're not just pulling money out of people's bank accounts, but a scam's a scam. And a bait and switch scam is a bait and switch scam. And it needs to be called out. And these sites need to be shut down, or I don't know. I filed an FTC complaint. Hopefully it starts to get a bit of attention that way. And I've contacted I believe it was Kayak that was showing the results of this site, and I don't know, they said they're going to look into it, but it's like these are sites that are just scams, as clear as days as it can be. And it's like when this is happening to every single person, it's not a one-off event. And yeah, it's crazy. And the crazy thing is, I missed. I lost. I ended up, there was a 500 euro fare. I ended up with this mess. I was worried that, hey, they're gonna charge me. What am I gonna do? And then I look, and now the price is 550, and I guess that's my my cost for falling into this. Um. So yeah, I mean, I avoided that, but it sure was a mess of time and everything. Um. Yeah, I'm just hoping that something like this, putting this video up there, might help somebody else out there. And if you have booked with these companies, make sure they haven't charged you, and just don't accept anything they tell you. I mean, just if they're trying to upcharge you, if they're trying to sell you a new ticket, if they're telling you that you didn't get a ticket, especially if you've booked via credit card. I mean, honestly, you should be golden just to tell them no. I mean, they shouldn't be allowed to do this. I mean, that's the problem. Of course, they're gonna give you a headache, and I don't know what to tell you about that. But yeah, okay. I think I've talked a bit too much about this at this point. You know my experience, and yeah, leave it at that. Okay, bye bye.